Hey, what's up guys? I'm back with another video. Today, finally, I get to show off what I've been working on for almost 2 months. As a lot of you guys know, I off-season at Tyler's Family Ranch out in Oklahoma. We've been talking forever, basically since we started playing disc golf, about how you can make a really sick course. And this off-season I finally did it. It took almost 2.5 months. It was a crap ton of work, but I'm really proud of it and I can't wait to show it to you guys today. I'm his hole 1, big, about 1,000-foot par 5, and of course with this huge valley we got to start with a big downhill shot. Would be a crime not to. Okay, I think we're just gonna kind of vlog style this video. Not gonna keep score. Just gonna show you guys all the lines and kind of talk about the process of making the course. But basically my goal with it was to try and make lines that challenge my weaknesses. So a lot of shots that I feel like I need to work on, putter shots, especially mid-ranges, backhand, like late turning shots. I kind of shy away from using really unstable discs on the backhand. And then for the sidearm, trying to work on more like Anheuser releases, flex shots. So I got several of those sprinkled throughout the course. The idea being that during the off season, I can just like pick a hole that has the line that I want to work on and just come out with a big stack of discs and spend, hours on it per week. And then, work on one for half an hour, and then pick it up and go work on something else for another hour. Sprinkle in some putting and upshot practice in there, and do it completely uninterrupted and really tailor it exactly to my needs. And I know people are gonna ask, it is not open to the public at this time, namely because one, the ranch is like in the middle of nowhere, and then two, once you even find the ranch, like the course is only about 70 acres on like a 1,000-acre property that is an active working ranch. And to actually get to the course, you have to drive through a couple of pastures where there are like livestock. You also have to drive through the part where people live. And I didn't want that. It's just not at a point where you can have traffic coming through here like safely, in terms of like safety for the animals. So while that's something that would be cool to have in the future, I think for now it's just gonna be a private course. And then, I've already been in talks with somebody about maybe doing an event here eventually in like 2025. So that's something I'm more open to, where we could kind of arrange the livestock to maybe be in some different pastures so that you could have a little bit of traffic through here for like a week or so and just do like a one-off event. But that's like way in the future. While this is a playable course now, it's definitely not event ready. There's so much more that has to go into it before it's going to be there. For now, it's just my practice course. Gonna use it to get ready for the next season and show you guys some content. All right, so this is hole 2, about 250 feet uphill. Thinking something like a buzz, mid-range. Whew, okay, a little short. Now, originally, so we're walking up to hole 2. Behind me, up there, that's where the tee pad for hole 1 is, and then down that way is the rest of hole 1. So originally I had hole 1 was you throw the same tee shot, but instead of going that way, you throw back up the hill to what is now hole 2's basket. But with my original layout, I had a later, like really hard par 5. And it was really important to me that I have at least 2 good par 5s on this course. But I was informed that they're gonna put a pasture in where I had about 4 or 5 holes planned, so I had to scrap those and try to fill in spots, which meant I lost that par 5. And so that's how we got the current par 4. Is I was like, yeah, well, we'll turn and we'll use that whole area down there, because I didn't really have to do anything to it other than trim some of the stuff up by the green. And so we did that, cleared out a few limbs behind me down at the bottom of the hill, and turned this pin position into a nice little par 3. Now we're at hole 3. This is kind of the first hole that's really intended to challenge one of my weaknesses. So there's obviously a backhand line, but there's that big side slope. So if you do happen to fade and not actually dig into the hill with a backhand, you end up way down at the bottom of the hill. Really the better play, I think, is a sidearm. But I intentionally put the tee pad here and left some of those limbs that are hanging like right here, so that it wouldn't be like an easy hyzer. It would kind of force you, if you want to do the forehand over the top, you have to kind of flex it, which is a shot that I really need to work on. So we're gonna try it now. Got a brand new Z-Raptor in the bag. Really the mistake is you want to overwork it to the left. You don't want to be early right. Like that. Not great, but it's kind of fine. Also have a putt. For funsies, because it's not too windy, so it's not a bad shot today. We're gonna try a buzz a set straight at it. Neither of those shots were that great, but they landed almost in the same spot. That's funny. There you go. I'm sorry, y'all, if there's a lot of noise in the background. I know it's supposed to be super secluded, but Tyler's dad's got a new skid steer and he's over there working on something. But after this hole, we'll move away from that sound. This is hole number 4, possibly my favorite, par 4. I actually went ahead and put in 2 tee pads because there were 2 lines that I really liked. But basically you've got this kind of straight shot off the tee, or you can try to get something moving right pretty early. Basically you want to get past all of the trees, and then it's a little uphill upshot if you can manage that. Turn! Okay, I didn't quite get over on that one. Oh, it's so bad. All right. Really, this course is gonna serve to help me get my cardio back. Woo! Bit of a hike. Okay, we're out of the valley, so hopefully I won't sound so dang out of breath as I'm doing all of these chats. So this hole 5, it's about 340 feet. Forehand, I think you can get there with either a flex or like a pushing hyzer. Yeah, I think you could in theory get there with a backhand, but it's gonna be really hard. Get right. Big skid. That was a little low, but I think it'll give me a look. There we go. That one turned out pretty good, actually. Easy peasy. All right, so this is hole 6. It's my other par 5. I want to say like 760 feet or so. I forget. But basically you want to throw something that bends right out of the hand. Second shot, something just super straight up the pipeline, and then the basket is tucked off to the right side, so usually like some kind of putter approach. I think ideally I'd be somewhere over there, but pretty good headwind today. I don't eat my lunch. I'm trying to spec a zone in there. Come on. Come on. So we got hole 7, a hole that's intended to make me finally decent at throwing putters. The wind's gonna make this tricky, but we're gonna go for it anyway. I think it's what, like 250 or so? I'll look it up again. I forgot all my hole distances, but I'll look it up again for you guys. But yeah, the wind just didn't let that wind did not let that stand up. All right, another shot that I'm working on this off season is a flip up forehand with a Buzz SS. So Buzz SS actually feels pretty similar to a zone in the hand. It's just obviously understable. It's a Buzz SS. It's like surprisingly torque resistant for how understable it is. And this hole in particular, I think shapes really nicely for a short flip up forehand. So let's see if I got it today. That's literally the best I've ever thrown it. I retire. That's perfect. So this is hole 8, I believe, 330-ish or whatever, way down there. One of my favorite par 3s, I think, because it actually has 2 pretty good options. You can throw what looks like the pretty obvious line, like a flip up that fades or that turns just a little bit late in the flight. But what I actually like the best, and what I think is the better, more consistent line for the hole, is to just pop something high on an anhyzer and kind of let it stall out. Once you get past this initial gap, there's some trees down there, but they're really low trees. Woo! That was pretty good. Hole 9, another par 4. I want to say 7 something feet. Again, I should really know this by now. But basically you want to take just a nice controlled distance shot. Miss these 2 trees, landing a little straight to a little bit left. Open up a nice straight shot. Woo! That's pretty good. Almost like trimmed the grass there. Turn in. I think that's still a putt. All right, this one's hole 10, probably the easiest par 4 on the course. I want to say it's about 620 feet or so. Basically, you just need to throw like a pushing hyzer kind of at the last big tree that has its leaves, and then cut it back left just before you hit that. That'll get you out the gap, and then it's a pretty wide open shot from there. There is an OB road just behind the basket, but again, probably the easiest hole out here. Might be like a next off-season project to try to like beef this one up. We can throw hyzers. All right, now we are on to hole 11. If this one looks familiar, it's because I show it on my Instagram all the time. I think this is just a really, really cool looking hole. This is definitely the one where once I got all these limbs and stuff cleared out of the way, it was probably the first time where I looked at the course and was like, yeah, that actually looks like a disc golf hole. It doesn't look like I'm just messing around with a chainsaw. But yeah, the hill up there looks super sweet. There's a pin location potentially in the future off to the right side, and then right there where those flags are maybe a short tee pad in the future. But for now, leaving it as it is, gonna see how I like it, and maybe next off season make some changes. Nice. Undertaker, baby. It's about 280 feet. Intended as kind of a more technical mid-range shot. A lot of the course is fairways with a couple of putters sprinkled in, but I wanted to make sure I had a couple of good mid-range lines. So we've got gap off to the left side if I want to try to late flip something, and then gap off to the right side. You can throw like a pushing hyzer or even a little flex shot. So lots of opportunity to practice some shots here with the mid-range. Okay, that one did not fade back for me. Ooh, so close. Okay, this is hole 13. It's another one I've shown a whole bunch on my Instagram because it's just a really cool looking shot. It's only about 200 feet and it's kind of the ace run hole. You've got this right side gap for the putter. Basically, if you get through the gap, it's almost guaranteed going to be an ace run, and then there's actually a slightly larger, slightly easier gap to hit that's like forehand, something overstable like a Raptor is really great. We're gonna try both of them. Woo. I did not get a great skip, but no ace today, but one of these days it's gonna happen. Okay, we're now on hole 14. Another really cool one that I've shown off a whole bunch on my Instagram because, like, just look at that. It looks so sick. I didn't even do anything to this hole. It literally was like this when I got here. I think I maybe trimmed one branch on the left side. This spot was just begging to be part of a disc golf course. Oh geez, that headwind almost cost me a disc there. Yeah, now for this hole, I'm thinking that everything short of the pond should actually be OB as well. And then maybe like right about here by these rocks will make a good drop zone. Because honestly, and I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I don't think drop zones for island holes should ever be on the island. I think that's just like, if you miss the island completely, you're getting off just too easy if you get to then take the next shot from on the island. I'm in favor of, you miss the island, you have to make the island still, but you get an easier spot, like maybe you're right up against the water. I think like, what's the hole at Jonesboro, hole 6, I think is a really good example of an island hole. Cause yeah, you shouldn't ever like completely miss the shot and then just get to putt. I think that's getting off a little too easy. You should have to stick an island. We're getting into the final stretch here. This is hole 15, another par 4. There was a reel on Instagram of me in a skid steer clearing a fairway. This is that fairway. Yeah, basically you want to get something out of the gap a little bit to the right, and then there's kind of just a big wide open shot into like a little bit of a gap late. So generally like putter, and then depending on how far out you get, like a mid-range or a fairway driver usually does the trick. Whew. So that kind of late drifting putter shot's another one that I really need to work on. Like I said, like I think I said earlier, a lot of times if I've got a right finishing shot, I tend to lean on the forehand, but there are times, especially on like the more wooded courses, where that's just not really an option, because, you know, missing the gap early or late with the forehand means you're like super pinched off, or the right turn is like really subtle actually, and you don't want a skip or a sharp move to the right. So this hole is intended to help me get better at that, in particular with the slower discs like the Fierce. Okay guys, my phone died after throwing my tee shot yesterday, so it is now the next day. It's a lot colder and a lot windier, but we're gonna go ahead and finish this out. Okay, so this is hole 16. You can't see the pin from the tee, but it's up there on the hill and then kind of tucked into the tree line just a little bit. Personally, I think it's a little too soft of a hole. What I might do eventually is just cut a line a little bit, maybe like 50 feet further, so that instead of throwing something that just needs to turn over and get up there, you need to throw something that turns and then kind of flattens out if you actually want to park the basket. Okay, this is hole 17. We've got a par 4. There is a tree on the right side of the fairway that it's not marked, but it will be a Mando tree. And I'll show you guys when we get up there exactly why. Because I want to force, there's a pond, big pond, so first shot you gotta get past the Mando tree and then it curves to the right where there's a little pond there, and I basically have the Mando there to force you to actually throw it over the pond. As opposed to like there's just a ton of empty space to the right of that tree, and that's just no fun. Alright, that went a little straighter than you want, but it wasn't too bad. Hopefully you guys can just barely see the pin in there, but that's the pond up there, and it just should be just an easy strike zone. Okay, I think that landed a little bit short, but not too bad. Right, 18, final hole. I actually think this is a really, really good finishing hole. This probably has the most OB of any hole on the course, but you're trying to throw, I think the play is actually a little baby flex shot with either a mid-range or a fairway driver, and even a really good shot like the landing zone to actually have a look at the birdie. It's pretty small, but it takes a nice left turn and then a slightly uphill shot with OB road long and then OB road behind the basket. It also tends to be like super windy up there. I've yet to birdie this one just in like a normal round, so I think the difficulty level is really, really good. Ooh. I really like that. Today might be the day. Okay guys, so up there you can see the basket. I try to be very intentional about which branches I left on that tree and on that tree. So depending on where you land, you know, you've got kind of this intended line which is left of that tree, but you can also go over that out of bounds to the right, which given where my disc is, that's the line that I'm gonna have to take. Like I was saying, I was trying to be really intentional with what trees and like limbs I left in, because I don't want to just like make this big hyzer line right behind me too easy. So there's a power line, there's a crosswind, up here is the OB road. Trying to like force it that if you're going to go with that hyzer route, you got to bring some kind of risk into play. And then obviously if you land inside or too close to that tree, it's really, really hard to go for the birdie from there. So I'm actually pretty happy with how this hole has turned out. And now we're going to see if I can birdie it today. I'm pretty sure that was short, but like I said, there's OB long, so I think we got a putt. But we'll see if I can finish out with good putts. Not today. Player B. Player B is always better, huh? Alrighty guys, that is it. That is my personal private course that I designed myself. I'm super, super proud of it. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I think there's tons of room for improvement, but to have actually taken the thing that we've been, you know, for years saying we could build a course out here, to actually take that and then go and build a course that I think is pretty well balanced and is going to do a really good job of challenging my weaknesses and giving me tons of opportunity to get better as a player. That being said, if you like the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I will make more videos. I don't know how many more videos, because honestly editing and stuff is not my strong suit, but I will put out more videos, so make sure you don't miss out on those. And thank you so much, you guys, for watching. Catch you on the next one.